There we go. I did a video on this before, and I noticed it's creeping in again. Maybe it's like a sign of, the awareness is heightening. Whatever the awareness is around all this stuff that's happening, it seems to be spreading even more and more. Because now a lot of people, they know the idea of my videos, like they know where I'm coming from, stuff like this. But now it's all, so what's the solution? And I have talked about this. Not so much a solution, but what people could probably do to, to move away from that frustration and anger towards, government and Garda. I know it's very hard. It's going to be very hard to stop people's frustration with the Garda Síochána because, solely because who they are, and they've, not to say they've always had a monstrous record, or maybe I'm being naive there in that sense, because I always remember growing up, I've told you all, wanted to be a guard, all that stuff, because I thought it was a job where you were going to help protect people, right? Now, throw out the fact that because you'd be a guard, you'd be protecting people in Ireland, which are mostly, for the time being, mostly Irish people, right? Never thought of it like that before, but now I do. You can't escape that. Especially when you see the likes of Garda Síochána going to Irish girls who get abused and stuff like this, and they're going around to their houses telling them to take down social media posts, all because the girl got abused and wanted to warn others of an individual, say. She gets a visit from the Garda telling her, no, you need to take that post down. I'm guessing the Garda are doing that because, they'll probably run with, we don't want to incite hatred towards, non-nationals, stuff like this. But with so much corruption, right? If corruption goes unchecked for so long, the whole being, so a person, right, who does so much wrong and never gets checked, will just get worse and worse and worse. It's like Dahmer, like Jeffrey Dahmer, when he was out there doing all that stuff he was doing. The fact that he kept getting away or getting off, like not getting off, but you know what I mean, getting away with, say he murdered an individual. Nothing was ever, he was never searched for, nothing. And the man went around bleeding. The stuff he did, like, I'm sure they only showed us half of what that man did. Sorry for the wind. I'm sure they only showed us half of what that man did in the movie. But because it was left unchecked for so long, it just got worse and worse and more depraved, Because like I told you, is with the elite, right? It's not money anymore. You see, money has lost all meaning to them because they've just endless amounts of it. So they need to get their kicks out of other things. I don't know, like Epstein Island, They need to go and do things like that to get their kicks, because money isn't giving them the same buzz anymore. So they look for a new high. Now that, of course, makes them more susceptible to being compromised with blackmail and stuff like that, but they don't give a fuck. They literally don't give a fuck, these people, because they went unchecked for so long, So that's why I say that about the Garda, is because they are the way they are because they went so long without being checked, and that corruption has just got worse and worse and worse. And it's quite clear to see that, they are literally just there to protect government officials, and they protect media officials as well, which is, no one find that a bit weird, how, for instance, we had that Paul Connolly fella. I don't know who he's with. Is he with like Virgin or something? Anyway, that Paul Connolly fella came out and tried to set up a counter protest out in Coolock. Him and like 3 other people. And when he was here, he got ran out of the place, you know. But he dropped his phone, and the Garda worked overtime to find out who had that phone. Now, I have the video of everything that's on that phone, because God bless your man. Don't know who he is, but God bless him, whoever's down there. Well, I do know who he is, but I'm not going to say it, because I know YouTube monitored these videos. And you know, I respected the man for showing what was on that phone, because it showed videos of him, Paul Connolly, right, in a hotel room, looked like the Holiday Inn, because that's where they all are, in Holiday Inn, desecrating a tricolour by writing all over it saying refugees welcome. You know, in some countries they fucking lock you up for doing that on the national flag. So it should be. It's a national flag, you know. But there was more other dodgy things on that phone as well, like how he's taking photos of this young girl in a shopping mall and stuff like that, you know. So they're all wrong. They all have something wrong. They're all degenerates. They all have something wrong with them. Therefore, it makes it easy to control these people, you know. And yeah, the guards worked overtime to find out, alright, who looked through that phone. They'll say who took it, right? But what they really didn't want people seeing, well, what was on that phone. And what was on that phone was Irish media personnel working side by side with these invaders, who mostly get scooped up by NGOs. But it showed that the media is working hand in hand to undermine the Irish people, you know. And then the guard are working overtime to get that phone back, or to get the chap that did it. Apparently, he was a chap that showed you what was on the phone. Was arrested, and they locked him up for 3 months. 3 months, huh? And they think, I know who he is, I know who the bloke is, and if they think 3 months in prison is going to stop him from highlighting all this corruption, they have another thing coming. Because just like myself, when you arrested me, I told you, you know, worst thing you could have fucking done. Because for the rest of my life now, I'm going to highlight Garda corruption. First, government corruption, because that's the top of the ladder. But yeah, Garda as well, you know. They literally are the enemy of the Irish people, the Garda Síochána. See how it's flipped? Like everything else in this fucking world's flipped on its head. Now, people could say, well, the Garda were always like that, you know what I mean? Well, if they were always like that, why was it left to fester, you know? Why was the corruption left to fester? Probably has something to do with Drew Harris, you know? Being the master puppeteer, Drew Harris, the guy who has it in for all people in the Republic, because the IRA blew up his dad. You know, he has it in for all. He hates all of us. But yeah, I'll go on to that thing again. I did a little short on the Enoch Burke, the Burke family over in the US. I'd just like to say again, I thought it was really clever by the Burkes to not interact with the Irish media, you know, because it really just showed you, because you all know, everyone here knows, when the Burkes are here in Ireland, they're hounded by the media, like absolutely hounded, and you know, defamed, anything you can think of, the media have done it to the Burke family. And when they went up and the Irish media tried to ask them, the matriarch, a few questions, silence, just silence. And like, no one, like, surely you find it a bit bizarre how the Irish media, whilst in America, were trying to interact with the Burkes, you know, when you all know how the Irish media treat the Burkes when they're here in Ireland. They treat them something terrible. All because their son won't bend the knee and call a man a woman and a woman a man, you know? It's absolute insanity. But the longer the shit show goes on, the more is going to be revealed. That's all I can say. There was another thing here that New Ada, sure there are a few people here that watch New Ada, but give him a follow on YouTube, and I think he's on Twitter now as well. Talks a lot of, like, he's very enlightening to listen to. He's very calm, and you know, and if you ask a question in his comments, he always answers you. You know, I'll give him that. But he was talking about Trump, right? And Trump put this thing out, like, it's going to be a golden age for the US and stuff like this. It's the idea of that is good, but like most things on paper, it's good. But when it's going to come into reality, you know, that to me, it's just the rich are just going to keep getting richer and the poor stay poorer. You know, he's saying golden age, but that's not the first time that's been used. You know, there's been a lot of rulers in the world that use that line, and Ada points out that, you know, like, but he mentions that it's Saturnalia who these people follow. I'm still of the conviction that they're all Luciferian, like they actually all worship Satan, you know. But he's saying Saturnalia. Go and look at that video for yourselves and have a look, because it's about 15 minutes long, and I found it quite interesting. New Ada's latest video. It has a thumbnail of Trump in a Roman outfit. But yeah, well, like, even when Martin was sitting there with Trump, and Trump turns around and goes, well, he's a really good guy. You know, kind of a bit of me just sort of sank, you know. I was thinking in my head, this is your perfect opportunity, you know. Might be a bit extreme, right, for some people out there. I'm like, this is your perfect opportunity to call him out on what he's doing to Ireland, how he's destroying Ireland. But he didn't. It was like buddies. It was like old buddies meeting up again, you know. Once again, I'll be surprised if they don't mention something that's going to come out in the next few months. Like I said, another whooping cough. It'll be whooping cough 2.0. And if it's not that, it'll be some sort of major weather warning or something like this, some crap like this, because they have to keep you in a state of fear, you know. It goes back to that fear thing. Keep you in a state of fear, frustration, anger and fear, and they have to try to keep you in that state. You're as a human, you're a lot easier to control and manipulate. I came across another video of a German philosopher. He's a philosopher, right, but he's only like mid-40s, you know, proper young for a philosopher. But man has his head screwed on so tight, and he's written 3 books. But he talks about in 2019 how all NATO members sat down and they were going to launch cognitive warfare. Have some of that. There's a line. Now, you've heard me say cognitive dissonance, as in, like, when a person has 2 conflicting things in his head and doesn't know what to choose. It's your cognitive dissonance. Like, a lot of people would have that around Trump, you know. A lot of people would say, oh, this is, like, he's good, he's calling out males are males and females are females and all this stuff, right? Yeah, even I know that's great. Even I know that's a good thing to do. But it's just the circle, it's the people around him. I can't address the man as an individual, but I can tell you the people that are around him are not. He wouldn't be there, you know, if he was so against everything that the government pushes. He wouldn't be there. It's just a matter of dragging things out, you know. But where's I going with that? I had a point to that there. Oh, bugger. Oh yeah, the cognitive warfare thing. So, yeah, in 2019, he says that all NATO members met up and said that they were launching this, or at least looking into funding for cognitive warfare. Like when I heard that, I was like, fuck yeah. It's like it's a better way of saying what I've been saying in a way. I say cognitive dissonance, but that's the individual. These people are thinking how to get countries to turn on other countries, you know, to have two conflicting issues. And how many things that you can think of that the government and media in Ireland push that might cause cognitive problems. I could start with Palestine, Israel, couldn't I? They got people so focused on over there when in reality none of those countries mean anything to us, right? For one, it doesn't affect how Ireland can move forward from this absolute destruction that we're seeing around us. But what it does is it causes cognitive impairment or cognitive dissonance, because they have people choosing Palestine and then they have some people choosing Israel, you know, and that constantly keeps people barking at each other while the government just sit there collecting their checks, you know. Like, I mean, Palestine would be guilty of, I don't know, invading a concert and taking women from the concert and raping them and killing them, you know. It wasn't just Israelis that they were doing that day, it was different nationalities and all that were at that concert. And I thought it was strange because it had been like 6-7 months into the initial war between them over there, but yet they still held a concert in Israel while the war was ongoing, do you know. And it's the same goes for Ukraine. Any videos I see from Ukraine of like even Irish lads that go over, you know, and they're putting these videos up on X and TikTok, and they're just walking around, everything's real calm, you know, people going out to nightclubs, people going swimming, all this stuff. So that causes cognitive dissonance in people, you know, saying that the Russians are over there and they're bombing everything, when that's just not the case. If you look at videos of tourists going over, all the Ukrainians are partying, living it up, probably all going over to other Western countries, signing on the dole, getting free money, and then going back and partying. So yeah, you can see it's like but the large scale cognitive warfare it just sparks something in my head, you know. Like I said, it's probably because it's been one of the big things that I've been trying to highlight and talk about, being the cognitive dissonance that humans suffer from. But the NATO are talking about cognitive warfare. Now I'll go back and I'll do my usual thing where I do my little voiceover. Yeah, man, the two of them are speaking in German in the video, but it has a translator on it. But anyway, I'll do a little video on that when I'm back in the house, because I thought it was very, very powerful information coming out in that one video. So yeah, stay tuned. I'll put it up later. Peace and love.